Hello, I'm Dr. Basil Considine. I'm here from the ACU Online Writing Center, and today I wanted to introduce a couple resources of particular interest to new students in our conflict resolution program. The CONR program, as one of our professional degrees, does have a fairly fast pace. We throw a lot of material at you, you absorb a lot of things, you start applying it very soon, and we have developed some specialized resources to help you along the way. Before we dive into that, let's start with a general introduction to the Writing Center for those of you who are new to ACU. The Online Writing Center serves students in just about every online program at ACU. You can access our scheduling system through my.acu.edu, my.acu.edu, and you can also access it through the Any Course website. We have a general website, scheduling system, as well as the Canvas site where you submit your paper. And don't worry if that sounds confusing, it's actually quite simple. Most students will just bookmark all three and use those bookmarks, but we have a video linked from this slide that can help you navigate that process. So we work with students at any stage of the writing process. You could be just thinking about your first discussion post and wondering, is this kind of the sort of thing that you're looking for? You could be working on an outline, on a partial or complete draft, or even revising a paper that you've gotten feedback on. We're happy to work with you. There are no charges for our services. We work with students primarily providing this detailed, customized writing feedback, generally through two channels. Asynchronous appointments, where you schedule a time. By the time that rolls around, you upload a copy of your document, and then we'll send you feedback generally within 24 hours. If it's Easter weekend, that's a major holiday weekend, and so for the people who do volunteer to return feedback to students on that holiday, a little bit of wiggle room there. But generally within 24 hours, and certainly if you're submitting on a Monday, we will get things back to you in time to incorporate feedback before the submission deadline. The other option, real-time phone or Zoom appointments, is if you have questions where you'd like to be able to get the answers in real time and ask easy follow-ups. Sometimes students have a lot of questions that they want to approach organically, so they look for a real-time appointment. That's fine. We have both options available. You can schedule those through the same scheduling website. We have a whole lot of resources, some of which we'll look at soon, on the Online Writing Center website. Again, that basic process for getting feedback is that you schedule an appointment through WC Online. By the time that appointment rolls around, you should submit your paper via Canvas, and then if it's a real-time appointment, you'll get your feedback in real time at that time. And if it's an asynchronous appointment, we'll send it to you generally within 24 hours. A small sampling of some of the webinars we have coming up this term. You'll see that there are several about general writing topics, including writing at the graduate level, several specifically about conflict management. Being one of our largest programs at ACU Dallas, we are happy to field questions, to meet with you at appointments, and we're also trying to develop our webinar series around the particular needs of that program. So if you see something that you'd like to have but we don't have yet, send us an email. Always happy to consider that, and if there's something that we know people will be using that makes it easy sell for, oh, people want that? Great, that's a great argument for why we should add something. One of those things we added, because we have lots and lots of webinars on specific topics, is we added a program-specific webinar guide. So if you go down to the Online Writing Center website's Writing Webinars page, scroll down a bit, you'll find this tab guide where you can click on the program name and then look at all the webinars that are designed to interface with specific courses and specific assignments. And we'll look at that a little bit more in a moment. I want to call your attention also to our ACU course paper template, which is formatted in APA 7th edition as required for all your classes. You can also watch our videos on YouTube and browse posts on specific topics on the Online Writing Center blog. With that, I'm just going to remind you about the template, and we are going to take a look at the Online Writing Center website. Now, if you get to the Online Writing Center website, which is linked from all of your courses in Canvas, you will see that we have a direct link here to get you to our scheduling system. If you look under About, you can learn a little bit about those of us who are providing feedback on papers. Some people like to look for someone who has a similar background and reach out to them. That's totally fine. That is something that is very personal. I myself have worked around the world and worked with a lot of international students, so I have many students who work with me specifically because of that, but you are welcome to work with any of our team. Now, if we go to services, we'll find the catalog of webinars, which is what we're going to talk about now. So the catalog of webinars is a helpful resource that allows you to see recordings of all the webinars that we have offered. Now here at the top you can see the schedule where it lists chronologically all the webinars that are offered this term. And if we scroll down a bit more, we come to this tabbed guide. Now, beneath the tab guide there's a full alphabetical catalog. We have a ton of webinars. You can use this full catalog if you want to do a text search for a particular topic. For example, if you wanted to see all of our webinars about synthesis, you can do a find search. That would be Control F on a Windows computer, Command F on a Mac, Control F on a Chromebook. And so I could do a search for all the webinars that happen to state that synthesis is something covered there. So you see, oh, there's a webinar coming up in April. But if I continue searching, I can see recordings of this webinar, multiple recordings made by different instructors in case you want some extra reinforcement. There's even one specifically about CONR 604's Week 2 assignment, which is a synthesis paper. Another one for nursing. Another one for a specific EDD assignment that requires synthesis. And one specifically on CONR 606. And then about integrating different sources for writing about history. And then another one about synthesis and annotated bibliographies. So if you are looking for things and you're not picky about what program it's from, this is a great resource to search the alphabetical catalog. So you can just do a word search for any topic that you're interested in. However, there's a lot here, and often people are not looking in general, but looking specifically at, oh, what would help me write right now? I'm looking for something specifically for this assignment that I'm assigned and that I have questions about. So if that's what you're looking for, this is where this guide comes in really handy. So here, I've scrolled up to the tab guide and I click on CONR. And you'll see, oh, CONR 602, there is a webinar where some of the content was specifically designed for students who are taking CONR 602. And then, oh, here's one about an assignment for CONR's first and second weeks. CONR 602's first and second. And here's one about the My Identity assignment, week 4. Now, as we add webinars as they're offered and recorded, we update this guide. So while this shows you what's here in week 0, as we add more webinars, as we offer those webinars and post the recordings here, this guide gets updated as well. So the great value of looking at this calendar is you can see what's coming up. And if, for example, you were in CONR 610, you could say, oh, hey, there's something coming around for me. I should mark my calendar to watch that. But if it's planning ahead, you can certainly in week 0 look and see, oh, yes, here are a couple things that are directly related to what I'm doing now, and let me watch those now or make a note to watch them as they come up. So for CONR 602, you see that we have several things for different assignments. For CONR 604, we have a variety starting with week 1 and continuing on through. And these are generally the assignments that we see students having the most trouble with, or where there's a new type of writing task. And so we'll do more than just talk through the instructions. We'll talk about the specific requests and give samples of how to answer the prompts directly and other things like that. So the goal is to guide you through key moments in the program. And after you've done a couple of these, you'll find that many of these things are coming naturally because you've developed a new habit, a new routine. Now, I also mentioned that we have an APA course paper template. So, writing webinar catalog is under Services. The template is under Resources. And if you go to Resources, APA 7, you'll see that we have a wide variety of things, including this APA course template here that you can download and open in Word, and that has a lot of the formatting done for you already. Now, we have a whole video on how to use that template. Now, there are more things than that. If you, say, went to school with a previous degree that was using APA 6th edition, you might want to check out our guide for how to understand the key changes between 6th edition and 7th edition. If you are looking for just, okay, let me improve my knowledge or see samples of how things look, the APA 7 Resources tab will be a good one for you. So we've got a cheat sheet for different citation formats that are the most common citation formats. We have tutorials on how to do formatting, explanations specifically of the citation styles, and how APA 7th edition wants you to acknowledge sources through citations and other means. And let's go ahead and take a look at a couple related things. So if you are in LifeRay, and so if you go to my.acu.edu, you log in, depending on which screen you'll be at, you'll get different options. But something you can always get to, quick links, online writing center. So that'll take us to our website, and from there, all you have to do is follow the link for what you want. So this is our LifeRay page. Click on Visit the Online Writing Center to get to this website with all these different resources you can download and watch and so forth. If you want to review the process for making an appointment, watch this video. If you want to schedule an appointment, just hit this link and it'll take you there. Send us an email, so on and so forth. And on this side, there's just a brief summary of how appointments work. You can schedule appointments up to 2 weeks in advance, and if you happen to finish early, that's fine, just upload it, and if we see, oh, it's here early and we have the time, we might get back to you even sooner than your appointment. We do have students who sometimes will upload a draft and then do some work and then send us an email saying, hey, I have an even more current version of my paper. Will you look at this instead? Yes, absolutely. Provided you catch us before we've reviewed the original one, certainly. And it is certainly possible to schedule 2 appointments per week to get an early version of a paper in and then a more complete draft later. Let's take a look at that scheduling system. So this is where you'd end up if you clicked on Schedule an Appointment Now. And you can see from looking at this that we have various slots where people have made appointments. Now, as an administrator, I can see a little bit more than the average person. But if you look at this, you'll see that there's actually a waiting list that you can get on. So say you're looking at a particular day and you're like, oh, all the appointments are full. Well, cancellations do happen, and we do sometimes add extra appointments when we have availability to complement the normal offerings. So if you click on that waiting list link, you can sign up to get emails and, if you'd like, text messages indicating when a new spot is available. Now, right now it's week 0, so there is a fair bit of availability on the schedule, but we start filling up as the term goes, and the last couple weeks of each term are always busy. So we recommend that you sign up for appointments sooner rather than later, and if you don't get an appointment on a day where you really like to get feedback, sign up for that waiting list, and then when you get a notification, just don't wait too long, because, again, we do fill up. All right, with that, let us turn back to the Online Writing Center website here. And again, if you're going from LifeRay, when you get to our page here, which you can get to from Quick Links, Online Writing Center, so this will lead you back to our main website. And the webinars are specifically under Services, Writing Webinars. The APA course paper template is under Resources, APA 7. Now, there are some external resources that you might be familiar with or might be using already. And some of these are resources that are developed by other universities like ACU. But something that I think more students should be aware of is that there is an official APA style website. Let me show you what I mean. So I have gone to apastyle.apa.org. So the APA stands for the American Psychological Association, and APA 7th edition is the 7th version of their guidelines for how things should look when written and published. Now, something that they added with APA 7 is this APA style website that has extensive examples and explanations that complement, they don't replace, but they complement the printed APA manual. And the things that students use this for the most are for getting a quick visual example of what something should look at. So if you're wondering what tables should look at, go to Style and Grammar Guidelines, Tables and Figures, and you'll find that there are explanations for how to lay things out, and we can go right to sample tables and look at some examples of what a table should look like in APA style. And see, oh, right, so should have a label there with a number, the title should be italicized in the title case, and no vertical lines, very few horizontal lines, just as around the different header rows and at the footer there. And that's how it looks like for a note. Now, another thing that is highly useful in the example department is the references section. So again, Style and Grammar Guidelines, References. And there's some explanatory text, but most people, I find, just want to see an example of what it should look like so they can imprint and use that as a model. So here you'll see that there's a whole detailed breakdown of some of the most common types. If you're looking for something that's not here, you can check in the APA 7th manual or send us an email asking about it. Give us as much information as you can about the source so we can identify it. But let's say that you were going to cite an ebook. So book, ebook references, this is where to go. And we have a couple different broad types of what you might be citing. So one author, a set of authors, authored the whole book, that's number 1. You can see we have last name, initials, publication year, the title of the book in sentence case and italicized, edition number, if applicable, name of the publisher, and then if it's something that's available online with the DOI. If it doesn't have one, and not all will, then it's the exact same thing, but no DOI. Now, this is a case where there's a special digital edition, so it's identified as that, third digital edition. We have the name of the publisher, and then a link to a website for this specific book, which is fine. You can see how these should get cited, and one of those reinforcement things is you can see these are not in chronological order. They are organized first by the first author's last name. So Jackson, Sapolsky, and then Svensson there. Those are the first authors. So it's organized first by the first author's last name, and then if there's more than one, then you go in orders like 2016, 2019, etc. All right. So there are lots of examples here that you can use to quickly check and see how something should be formatted. If it's not covered there, you can check in the manual where it gives you the exhaustive details and even more specific cases, or send us an email. All right, so heading back to the Online Writing Center website, we've got the guide for webinars linked to your program. We've got the APA course paper template. We have various topics. If you get feedback from your professor saying, hey, you need to work on your grammar, head on over and we've got a lot of stuff for you. The library also has guides for most of our online degree programs as well. So they'll have common resources that you'll be using for searching and accessing literature and video how-tos and other things like that. So I think that's a good point for us to start wrapping up our quick look here. So do download this template. If you're watching this as a video recording, I recommend pausing and then typing in tinyurl.com/ACU template to download it. You can email us by sending an email to onlinewritingcenter@acu.edu. You can schedule an appointment through LifeRay through the my.acu.edu portal, and you can visit us on the Online Writing Center website. Welcome to ACU. We're happy to have you and look forward to working with you.